Wow, Overhaul is really done. Boku no Hero chapter 159. Really, these past couple of chapters have been pretty crazy. And just this whole arc as a whole has been pretty it's been a roller coaster, it really has. And the fact how the chapter title itself is called The End, it really does kind of put a close on the book of this arc. Obviously, from the end of this chapter, with the whole thing about Shigaraki and all that kind of stuff. I'll get to that in a sec, but I got to really pose out the question, and that is, what were your thoughts upon this arc? And also, what were your thoughts on Overhaul as a character? Because, recently, basically throughout this whole arc, ever since Overhaul got introduced, just the comparisons, people have been asking, oh, is he better than Stain? Is he better than All for One? All of these kind of stuff. And I kind of held back on my opinion on it because I personally think that for me to form a basis, I need to see him after the arc ends and also what impact he has on the series. Because one of the reasons why Stain was so amazing was because how he still impacts the series to this very day, and similar to like All for One as well. So with Overhaul, only our initial thoughts hold claims, to be honest, because like we don't know what else is going to happen in the future. We don't know what else is going to happen after these past couple of chapters, but so far I really do think Overhaul has been an amazing villain. I think what I've really loved about him is his character, and in the sense of how he had that whole fixation on germs and how that kind of became his whole, how Horikoshi basically used that as his whole character, like his whole what's the word, like the mold of his character with the whole masks and everything like that. So it's pretty cool. But the fact that this chapter Overhaul's now been defeated, this is now the end of the arc, but there you really can't feel relief in it. In a sense, this is a win for the heroes, but we knew something like this was gonna happen. However, I really want to touch upon the fact how a lot of people has been saying that they're really feeling anticlimactic. I personally, I can see why they feel like that, and not necessarily I agree with them. I do think this was kind of a great end to the arc. However, I personally think with the whole point of Night Eye and this whole telling the time and Deku twist in the future, as amazing as Boku no Hero is and how awesome Horikoshi is as a writer, how he doesn't necessarily always conform to the trope that is shonen, it is shonen at the end of the day. So something like this was gonna happen with the whole fact about, I can see the future and I'm gonna twist the future. So stuff like that. That was probably the only inevitable thing out of it. And the way how I see Deku being able to actually manage to twist the future was only because of Eri. I generally don't think it was, oh, Deku's the main character, so I changed it because I'm the main character. I really don't think so. I just think Eri's quirk is on a whole nother level. And even if you think about it, technically Eri's quirk is also time related as well. So I do think that did play into a fact of how the future definitely got manipulated. Even in retrospect, looking at Zonai Eye's quirk now, it really, I think the way that it was presented seemed like it was just basically, it was inevitable. Whatever he saw will happen. It was like foolproof. There was no flaws to it whatsoever. And the fact how there basically was a flaw with this in this arc is making us question, like, is it valid? Like, how did that happen? Now, I doubt that this will become like a problem in the sense of like, now this is where our fears do arise, and this is where my fears arise as well, because the whole fact about twisting the future, this whole theme has been brought up since the start of this arc, and I'm not saying since the start of Overhaul's introduction. I'm saying since the whole start of like the internships and after the fight of Bakugo and Deku, when since the introduction of Mirio, actually, when All Might and Deku had that conversation about how there was someone else being considered for the quirk. Ever since then, then that's when All Might told the whole information about, how he's gonna die, all that kind of stuff. So ever since then, the whole thing's been introduced. Now, I think this is where our fears arise in the sense of how what Sonata I saw with All Might dying is not gonna happen because Deku's gonna twist the future again. I think we really need to then he's like, I don't know, but I feel like with Night Eye, it's really making me not doubt it because it's only happened once. But like, I think if it happens again, people are gonna question, oh, is this quirk really that great? Like, oh, because now I saw it. Like, I don't want it to become something that can be easily crept around. Like, you know what I mean. But aside from that, there is another thing which we want to talk about, and that is the whole fact what I mean about anticlimactic. Now, the whole sense of that is because why some people may be feeling anticlimactic. I know look, some people were saying like in Reddit and all this kind of stuff, people were saying that it seemed a little bit sudden with the ending and stuff. Personally, I do agree to an extent. I think that's mainly because with what this arc presented. I'm not saying that it failed on some of its it failed on some of its not precepts, but you get what I mean. Like because this arc was presented to have a lot of threat, like the stakes were extremely high. And now how we see at the end of this chapter with everything, calming down a bit, it seems like Sir Nightai really isn't gonna die. The whole fact about, oh, they found another serum, bringing in a possibility of Muriel regaining his quirk again. Or who else? Deku not die. Just seeing all of this, that in the midst of how there are so many injuries. I think a lot of people were presuming that there were going to be more deaths and more what's the word more critical consequences. You could say. However, I really do like the end of this chapter when what does Horikoshi say at the end? This is when it's Shigaraki. Dabi finally, like, this guy's been hiding, but I'm so glad Horikoshi says it's not over yet. So Shigaraki comes in with a van. Now I like what Shigaraki says. He basically says, all we have to do is take the opponent's king. So that can either imply Overhaul or it can apply, the mafia boss, the old guy. Now, I don't know. It's possible for either one happening, for the sense how they may take the old guy to truly, like Shigaraki may take the old guy and kill him to hurt Overhaul, or he's actually just wants to take Overhaul and he'd be like, you work for me now, or maybe he just wants to kill Overhaul. We really don't know. Either way, just the way that Shigaraki's introduction into the end of the chapter, we know the guy's developing, he's improving, he's just so fiendish, it's so awesome, and I really do love like his stance, the way he's just on the van like that, like it just looks so awesome. I really can't wait to see what's actually gonna happen. And we see obviously Mr. Compress, he's probably talking to Togo and Twice, and that's another thing which I want to get at. If you go back a couple of pages, I believe it's page 14, I think it's page 14. Maybe it's it is page 14. You see two Urarakas, but then you see two Sun Eaters as well. Now, I don't really know what Horikoshi's kind of going at. I'm thinking that this whole Sun Eater one, that was just like maybe because the thing is, it looks like a montage, so it looks like a lapse of time. We're looking at the characters, their reactions, and all that kind of stuff, what's happening afterwards. But we see two Urarakas. Now we know that Toga has Uraraka's blood, and we know that she has transformed into her in the past. So the fact is, what looks a little bit shady is that there is an Uraraka holding Nightai, but she's got her mask covered and you can't see her face. That looks extremely shady, in my opinion. And then a couple of panels later, you see Uraraka all distressed. I don't know, the whole fact that that's the only character in that panel that face is covered makes me think that that can be Toga. I do think many things are happening at once, like especially in the background, like in behind the scenes. Obviously Shigaraki, Dabi, Mr. Compress, they're probably going to be trying to capture stuff at Overhaul. They're trying to do something there, but I don't think Toga and Twice have finished, because remember what was it Toga or was it Twice? No, it was Twice. Twice whispered into Toga's ears, and Toga was just like, Shigaraki would love that. So, we know that they're planning on doing something of their own as well. So I'm really intrigued into what's happening. And if so, then I think I will kind of answer the whole question about how, it seemed all anticlimactic because the stakes were reduced a bit, or the stakes were kind of solved. We really do not know, because let's say that this is Toga, and Toga does have Sir Nightai. Okay, think about it. Sir Nightai has a lot of info on the Villain Alliance, so maybe they just want to take out Sir Nightai, or they want to take out a high-profile hero once again to make society, what's the word, like society more anxious again. I'm not really sure, but I feel like, yeah, a lot is happening behind the scenes, and the whole fact, which was really cool, what I really did enjoy was the whole thing with Naya and how he basically deactivated Ares' quirk. It was awesome, it really was. Maybe, yeah, inevitable, but a bit cliche. I don't care. I really loved how it was, and just how the facts, how like Ares' power is just getting stronger and stronger, and it just makes you think. Obviously, now that she's saved, that's amazing, but no one really understands her quirk, so. I really don't know what's gonna happen along the lines. I can see it going down the route of, yeah, Eri's gonna be cool, but she makes a pact to herself saying, yeah, I don't want to use my quirk, or maybe she'll go through like therapy or something, and someone will help like mentor her and help her like train and control her quirk, maybe something like that. But yeah, the future that night I saw was obviously Deku being killed, either Deku being killed by Overhaul or just Deku being killed in general. And if it is Deku being killed in general, he was basically close to death. Like he was about to get rewinded or rewound. Either way, about to get. I'm gonna say rewinded. He was about to get rewinded out of existence. So it was legit. It really was. And I don't know. I just got really. I don't know. I just when I read this chapter, I really had the feeling of like, whoa, it's really finished. Like because the thing is, the whole ever since Overhaul was introduced, he was serious. Like it didn't seem possible of him being defeated. It really didn't. Mainly because of his quirks, to be honest. But I don't know. It seemed pretty cool how basically Deku just like did a body slam on him and everything. And you know what? It's actually kind of I really didn't pay any attention to these previous couple of chapters. The whole fact that this fight is obviously taken outside in the public and it's hitting houses and that. And I believe it was in the last chapter you saw civilians in their houses. They're like, what's going on? What's going on? So I think that's gonna be really cool, like the aftermath of that. Because heroes, I remember in one of the arcs, I think it was Isaiah Sensei who was saying it, they're supposed to keep damages to a minimum of they have to, yeah, they can't put the civilians in danger or like the public, because all of that's gonna cost money for it to get fixed and all that kind of stuff. So I think that's gonna be interesting. However, I think what's also interesting is when Aizawa Sensei said to Deku, I'm sorry. Now that's kind of intriguing because at first I took that as I'm sorry, I'm going to use my quirk on you guys. But then again, maybe it's something like I'm sorry that you had to go through this because I feel like Aizawa Sensei really has changed his tune just because of how this arc really got out of control. And this arc was really serious. Like these kids, like Isaiah Sensei had his students go through this trouble. They could have died easily. It was extremely a dangerous situation that they were in. Even though I remember at the start of the arc, Isaiah Sensei was like to Deku, "Oh, I've got my eyes on you, problem child," or like problem student, or something like that. But I really think he has changed his tune because the stakes have been really high, and I really love. This is one of my favorite moments of the chapter was when Sun Eater comes in and Mirio's just on his shoulder. You know what? I really do love Sunny Eater. I think I've said it plenty of times before. I just think he's such an awesome character. And I love how we finally got to see the swordfish because this was brought up ages ago. But yeah, this chapter was phenomenal. In my opinion, I think it was a great end to the battle of Overhaul and the whole. I think it was a great end to not the capture, but the rescue. Yes, the rescue of Eri. That's all that matters, to be honest. Yep, I think it is a win. Not the win that they were hoping for, but it's a win. Nonetheless. So yeah, this chapter was pretty cool, guys. So please tell me your thoughts in the comments below. If you have anything to say, please drop a like. That will be greatly appreciated. And what do you think is gonna happen with Shigaraki and the villains? What do you think they're gonna do? I think that's gonna be quite interesting. So peace out, guys, and goodbye.